now you should get a notification that I'm live and that I want you to join in. Hopefully.
Let me check my phone. Is it my picture when you go to Joseph?
Yes. Yep. Can you watch it? Can you watch the video on your phone?
Well, I mean, it's not live right now. I didn't try before.
Oh, I'm live again.
Oh, okay. Is it the same link from before?
No. If you go to the Caveman EDC.
Yep, I'm on it.
It should be at the top of the page. Right, my sister's there right now. I'm tagging you in it, in the actual comments, and then when you start actually watching, you may have to do it through your phone if your computer won't work. Okay, yeah, it's a picture of you, and I just
black background.
Yep, I just
Okay, I just got a notification.
Okay,
that you mentioned me.
Okay, so now you can open that, start watching the video, and it'll show me that you're watching it, and it'll let me bring you on.
Okay.
That mic was $29. These guys are harassing me already because I got a microphone. All right, so it's
okay. So, I commented in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you should be able to see me.
Yeah, okay. It won't. It won't give me the option to bring you on a video. It says you're watching, but
all right, let me try my phone.
Yeah, your phone is what it's gonna take.
Okay, I just said hi from my phone. Let's give that a shot.
Yep, there it is. Now you're getting her. Now I sent you an invite.
Yep, I see it.
And you should pop up here shortly. Did you see the invite on your phone?
I did. I am giving access. Should be everything that we need.
One of the guys commented, said, "Go get your wife to help."
Okay.
And then a window will pop up and it'll start spinning, and then you should be on.
Can you invite me one more time since that?
Well, I've already added you. It won't let me add you again.
Because I needed to give access.
Oh, to the camera?
Yeah, to the camera. So now I'm.
Okay. Yeah. So you're back in again.
All right. Request to join. I see that. Okay.
Yeah. Now. Yeah. Accept it. Hopefully.
Yeah. I requested it to you.
Okay. It'll pop up. It just takes a second.
I'm gonna go get a phone stand so I don't have to hold this thing.
Yeah, that's okay. These guys are patient. They're all just harassing me in the comments.
They like to pick on it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm giving them extra time.
Oh, okay. There's your approvals. It should be popping up on your phone now. There you are. Ha-ha! Success. I'm gonna hang up the message.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good.
All right, there was that. Now here's this back, sis, so we can see him while we're talking to him.
You guys getting behind the scenes of my office here? Hold on.
It might just be me do this. Tell me when that's in frame there.
That's in frame. I mean, for you, well, I'm out of frame, but for you to be frame.
I'll adjust it.
That's
I'll
good.
adjust it when I do this.
I think that's good.
All right. Sorry, guys. We're both adjusting. Yeah. Oh, crap, I forgot about that. All right, now let me add my other admins. There's an invite. Jon, coming to you. Where's Adam? Did I pass him? There's Adam. All right, there's Jon.
Yo.
Where did Joseph go? Oh Lord. Okay.
Did we lose Joseph?
Yeah, apparently. I don't know where he went.
Can you invite him again?
Well, it doesn't show that he's watching anymore. He may have closed his phone. All right, hold on. Let me swipe this.
Leave it to a caveman to figure out technology.
I know, right?
Yeah.
He's on there. He said.
Yeah, I see it, but
Somebody said the limit is 3.
I think I put it on my phone. Can you invite me on my phone?
yeah. Oh well.
Right there.
No, that's my wife. I don't want her on there. Not for this one. She don't want to be on there. It doesn't show that you're viewing it, Joseph.
Okay. Let me comment again.
Are you watching from your
Your phone got me
phone?
blocked.
I am.
Nope.
Yes.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. Be right back.
Looking at everything on my computer.
Okay. Do you go by Joe or Joseph?
Joseph, please.
Okay, cool. I like it.
He just said hello.
It still doesn't give me the option to add you. What?
I can't believe I fucked this up already.
Do we got too many people on here?
I don't know. No, because it's giving me options. Everybody that's joining in, it's giving me the options
Yeah, he
to
said he
add
closed
people.
out.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm going to send a request. Let's try that.
Yeah.
Yeah, do that.
There it is.
All right. All right, he's gonna pop up in like 10 seconds there. See?
There we go.
Okay, sounds good. Let me switch my headphones over.
Not now.
Hopefully that doesn't fuck anything up.
All right, there's that for comments. Oh, I need that back because that's where I wrote down all the questions.
There he is.
All right, scoot over.
I feel like I'm like Jesse's my grandson, and I'm like in an old folks home trying to get my fucking TV remote connected to my VCR.
Oh yeah. That's what and a guy just commented and said I knew he was handsome, better looking than the Neanderthals. That's what I told my wife. I was like, when I was at Rec, I was like, I met Joseph Vero. She's like, oh, that's cool. He's the knife guy. And I was like, the dude's a stallion. Like, we just lost Adam.
He didn't want to play.
I don't know how, but it was probably my fault, and I apologize.
What did you do, Joseph? All right, we got Chris Burns in here. Hey, buddy. All right, so when Adam gets back on, I will add him again. But I don't know where he went. There he is. I'll send him an invite. So basically, can you see the comments?
We good?
Oh, he's back.
Yep.
Okay, so
Define good.
Oh yeah, watch it on your phone because I have the questions on here somewhere. Basically, what we do is he moved. Is we ask questions, basically like what made you want to get into knives? What was your first knife? What? Let me turn this up. Sorry. What things like that. So first off, just let me introduce everybody. This is my sister Christy.
Hi, Christy.
She's a new admin. We needed somebody dependable that wouldn't tear anything up in the group. So why not my sister? I can yell at her close. So
Dude, I hired my sister. She does she does social media and helps out with the group and stuff. It's like it's great. Yeah.
So her first thing with us was to basically we did what did we do, John? Oh, a Veterans Day.
The Veterans Day thing, yeah.
We let her do the coins. The guy made us 4 lasered coins to give away, and I let her handle that. Her husband's a veteran, and our dad's a veteran, so because we were, yeah. And then we are doing the 5K giveaway right now also, and then we have the stuff for our veteran and first responder giveaway that'll probably be in February that we'll go over later that your sister sent us.
Awesome. I do appreciate you guys doing that. And my sister's husband's a veteran as well.
So this is Christy. That's John with the hat. He's the other
John.
admin caveman.
How you
That's
doing?
Adam Roberts. He runs 2 or 3 different Facebook groups. My favorite one is the EDC Speakeasy, but I know he really likes Veros, and we'll get into that later, but I've never actually owned a Vero knife. So I got cut by one really good one time, but I haven't owned one yet. That's what I was telling my sister before we started. The knife you sent to give away is the one that I actually probably would buy. But yeah, so Joseph, give us some origins of your legend.
First, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate you guys inviting me on. Jesse, we met at River's Edge Cutlery. It was really cool to see you, your collection, your kids.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I have 2 boys, and trying to get them into EDC. One's a lefty, so I had to come out with a lefty. You're a lefty,
too.
Right?
No, I'm not.
Oh, you have a lefty. That's right.
My oldest is a lefty.
That's right. We chatted about that. So I'm actually really glad that you asked me about Origins. I've been thinking about a knife recently, and I couldn't take myself to go up in the attic and find it. And I did for this stream, and I'm really, really glad that I did. It's a knife that I made. So a lot of people don't know this. I actually used to make knives in my garage. I had a 1x belt from Harbor Tool and Freight. It was trash. But I decided to, start making knives. I actually wanted a Benchmade Bushcrafter. No, a Bushcrafter. One of their fixed blade. I think it's called the Bushcraft.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it was like $250, and I was a poor college student, and I'm like, I can't spend that money. So I ended up spending $300 on stuff to make the knife instead. So I ended up doing that. I actually made my own micarta for it. I used Gene and epoxy, and it was a terrible idea. And I don't suggest anybody ever doing that in their entire lives. I can still smell the epoxy, even though I even moved houses. So it was terrible. I actually ended up making ultimately some knives for friends, and it's kind of how things kind of got started there. But I made a knife for myself, and that knife I took camping for years and years, and absolutely loved it. It's an A2 steel with brown micarta scales, and I wanted it, so I went up in the attic. I got my camp pack that I haven't done in years because of kids and life and stuff, and I pulled out this knife. First of all, I want to show everybody my amazing leather work.
I'm not ignoring you. I'm
Cool.
actually looking at it on my
That's the
tablet.
first sheath you ever made with the first knife you ever made. I mean, that's not
pretty
bad.
cool.
That
No.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I actually used the belt loop, and it still holds together. So pretty proud of that. So this is the first knife I ever. This is not the first knife I ever made. This is the first knife I've ever been proud of making. After I screwed a few up on that 1x.
So that's Vero #1.
This is Vero fixed blade #1, and it even has my my logo on there that
Nice.
I used 9-volt batteries and acid etched. I got a little film for it. Actually, a friend of mine that I made a knife for as a present ordered me some of those screens for acid etching or for electrolysis etching, and this thing fits my hand like a glove. I absolutely love this knife. I haven't seen it in years, so I'm really, really glad you forced me to go up in my attic, get fiberglass all over me, get itchy just for this guy here.
And that actually looks a lot like your Synapse.
Yeah, there's definitely some there. So what Yeah. So what I remember was this was inspired by a Southard. I don't remember what model he was making at the time, but I didn't steal it from him. It was inspired by him for sure. It's definitely not his design. So yeah, really really happy with that knife there.
Right.
That's
Which
awesome.
I actually have a question about that later, but so you answered my first question is, what was some of your first designs and what knife makers inspire you? Because, this is a cheap plug, but I've been, and John knows, I've been trying to design fixed blades recently. I want to come up with my own fixed blade. And then I send it, Adam's seen them. There's, 20 different guys that have seen them. And it's like, well, that looks like this and that looks like that. And it's like, I want to cuss at them and be like, make an original blade shape that doesn't look stupid. It's not easy. Like everything, almost remotely looks like something. This is what we started with, and it's ultra tiny and slim, which I wanted it to go in your pocket fixed blade.
Yeah.
And now I'm trying to do something that's wider. But one thing that's for certain now with your designs, even though this compared to the Axon or whatever, they both look like Vero knives.
Yeah.
They're definitely the only thing that, and not even similar, the only thing that I've kind of put in the same category as these would be like a Pena, but they don't look alike. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
Definitely like whenever you got that new slim one out, and Adam knows and John knows, I mean, in this community, you know a Chavez when you see a Chavez, you know a Pena almost when you see a Pena. And that's one thing that is consistent with your brand is when you, even though handle shapes are different and everything, there's still something that screams like that's a Vero.
Yeah. So the hard part there is that design language it happens over time, right? There needs to be some consistencies. There needs to be some similarities between designs for people to say, oh, that's a Pena Vero style knife. It's hard to do that on your first knife, right? It's hard to get something that's just like, oh, that's new, right? Or very specifically, not have your friends go, dude, that's obviously this knife, or it's obviously that design. That happens all the time, and hopefully you have friends that tell you when it is way too much like something.
Right.
So my first knife design was the Impulse. Actually, pulled out my prototype number 1 for the Impulse.
Color.
Oh, that's awesome.
Very dirty, very used. But this knife, while I didn't have a known language for my designs, I was hoping that people would go, oh yeah, that's a new design language, right? While there are aspects of this, I was carrying Chris Reeves' Umnumzan at the time, so that definitely factored into me wanting like an Americanized Tonto. I didn't. It's not an Umnumzan, right? The flipper tab, which is why I actually started designing knives in the first place, having it high on the spine of the knife. I'm not the first person to put that there, but I did spend a lot of time developing the geometry on that. And interestingly enough, I actually brought my 3D print of that design. And the idea was that if the flipper tab works well on a 3D printed knife, it better damn sure work well in titanium and steel.
Well, so
Right.
You bring in a few things you need to put up for auction.
yeah. So,
Oh no, these are going in cases and being hidden.
Interesting enough, I always have different knives in my pocket. I bought her knife. She's into them, but she can't flip a thumb stud. And honestly, and I'm not putting her on blast, but you hand her a flipper knife, and 80% of the time she flips them. You get this, and I was showing her. I was like, that's what this guy designed. Here's his knife, and literally, like I handed it to her, and it's just I was like,
It's hard not to flip them.
right.
Right?
And
It's
I think
hard to get it like you just did.
right. I mean, we bought her her husband bought her a Civivi Asticus, and it took her a while to get the rhythm of it. Yeah.
If you could flip a knife with your pinky, you got the geometry right.
Well, that and I appreciate the designs like that. Just
Yeah.
because.
So on that subject, you got the Fuller, which I really like because I like the way you do your flipper because I'm not a flipper. I don't like flippers. But a question from a potential customer, like, why no studs?
Great question. Adam, real quick, did you want to jump in on the flipper tab? I can answer that in a second.
All I was saying was that I appreciate the design of those flipper tabs because being somebody who actually, until I started my recent job, carried a lot of things in my pockets. Nick Shabazz would say it, right? It's a pocket pecker. It destroys everything else I put in my pocket. So when you have one that's designed like that, it's not poking, scratching, rubbing.
So do you know why? So a big reason why I actually ended up designing it like that was because I hated feeling the flipper tab rub against my right here. When I put my hands in my pocket, I just hated that. So that was it's a weird reason, but it was a big reason. Keys and all that jazz sticking in. And also I didn't like having to prime the flipper tab, which you have to do on a lot of even very high-end, well-designed knives. You have to prime it, get it ready, and then flip it.
Right.
I wanted it to flip if I wasn't thinking about it. If I quickly needed to grab the knife out of my pocket, flip it open, I didn't want to have to and going back to your point, you carry a lot of different knives, right? If I'm carrying one knife in my pocket, I get used to that knife, how it flips, and then I don't have to think about it. But if I'm carrying one thing 7 straight days and then switch over to something else, I don't want to have to I don't have to remember that I have to prime it to flip it open,
Right.
So that's a big reason why I did that.
Another thing I actually just noticed, because like I said, I've actually never owned one for an extended period of time. I've had this one on my desk since we got it, and I play with it constantly.
That's good. That's going to have scuff marks when it goes to the final person, isn't it?
I don't scuff them, sir. The flipper tab is not exposed.
Yeah.
That's one thing I cannot stand the look of a flipper tab sticking out here.
You don't have to contend with it if you want to choke up. You don't have to figure out where your hand can go when the knife is fully open. You can just saber. You could fully choke up if you're trying to do some fine-tune work and stuff like that. That was one of the big things. And I know that there's like Lee Williams kick stops and stuff that do that. But I just wanted it to be just like a flawless flip every time and not have to contend with it when it's open.
And personally, I have a kick stop, and it's neat, but it rattles, and that bothers me. When it's closed, you can shake it and you can hear it, and it makes me want to throw it across the room, even though it's not broke. But in my mind, it's not right.
It takes away from the solid feel of it, like that. No, I totally get it.
So basically, you're avoiding studs just to keep the knife streamlined, or? Yeah.
So I've had knives that I love having the studs on. Chavez knives. I've owned many. And to middle finger flick out a Chavez knife is one of the most satisfying feelings in the world. That's how I honestly only own it just so I can grab it, flip it out, close it, smile, and put it away. Like that's why I own those knives. They're that good just for that reason. Like I said, the Unknown's on. Love it or hate it, it has thumb studs that you can middle finger flick. I love middle finger flicking thumb studs on knives. But I don't think they add to the aesthetics of knives. They definitely add to some, but I try to keep my knives clean. I try to since we're talking about the XL. I don't have branding anywhere on this knife,
Right.
on the face of this knife. I wanted to keep the show side of the knife as clean and pristine as possible. My design like philosophy is clean, aesthetic, and putting a thumb stud on the blade, it takes away from that. Also, if you're breaking down boxes, thumb studs can get in the way. You know, if you're sharpening, thumb studs can get in the way.
Yep.
You don't need a thumb stud. Why add a thumb stud?
Right. Is that why you don't put the fuller on both sides?
So I don't put the fuller on both sides on some knives, and I do on some.
Okay. Well, I'm green.
The use no, that's completely fine. The use case is it dictates it. The Synapse line is more of a gentleman's carry. It's a cleaner. By the way, quick plug. These are titanium scales for the Synapse line, which we are dropping this week, Thursday, for the first time. A lot of people have been asking about them. And I think it adds to the gentleman carry of this knife, which is kind of the point. This isn't a knife you're necessarily going to go baton out in the woods. It's a knife that you're going to carry every day to the office, use outside if you need to. But I wanted to keep it clean and pristine. Another knife, which is the Impulse Thin. So this is my first design that I transitioned to a drop point blade. This one, I designed it as more of a rugged knife so that you can thumb flick it open, middle finger. Sorry, this is a weird angle I'm trying to get to here. You can have multiple opening methods for it, and of course, you can flip it open with your pinky. It becomes more of a kind of like a use case. Right. I want to be able to just grab it out of my pocket and flip it open and not have to think about it. So it's kind of a give and take.
Okay. I have a couple other questions too. Adam or John, if you have anything, you can ask him.
Just curious about the design language. I mean, especially when you go full tie, it is very clean, right? It's almost Tesla-like, if that's that's a way to put it. What made you want to go with something like that rather than something maybe more rustic or more geared towards? It's hard to want to use a knife that clean for hard use.
So I love options. When I came out with my first knife, you can see that this is blue, anodized blue. It didn't come like this. When I first started in the knife world, I was a collector myself. I mean, and you couldn't get a custom knife under $800, $1,000. And again, I was a poor college student, and I wanted blue anodizing on my knife. I wanted Timascus. I wanted scales that you could swap around because I was big into PM2s, but I wanted them, I wanted to be able to choose that knife. I wanted to make it mine. I wanted to make that production knife mine. When I first came out with my first design, I said, screw it. You could go to my website. You could say what color you wanted your clip, your backspacer, your screws, your scales. And when I got my knives in, I anodized every scale, every screw, every clip, every backspacer, and built those knives to how people wanted them because I wanted them to get the knife that they wanted.
Yeah.
Right.
So why do titanium scales? Because people want it.
Right.
So
I also have
I just mean the
micarta
general
scales.
aesthetic of it, the clean lines, the very straightforward, just very. It's a very clean aesthetic.
Yeah.
Period. Yeah.
So I don't necessarily think that the clean aesthetic has to take away from its function, right?
No, not that it does. It's just it makes some collectors, think twice about whether they're going to pull it out and use it. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of Vero knives in safes and cases, and I get that because I have a lot of knives in safes and cases. You know, I've my Chris Reeves knives. I very rarely ever take them out and carry them because they're a little bit more sentimental. And you know, it was hard for me to think to do that when the most expensive knife I owned was a Savenza 21, and I was like, well, I'm not going camping and taking my Savenza 21, but I want people to use these knives, right? I want people to not necessarily abuse them, but take them out and use them, which is why I don't have one here, but so the fixed blade, you can get titanium scales for it, or to get, you know, to make it that clean aesthetic EDC, or you can get micarta scales, multiple different colors of micarta. You can get G10, you can get
Altum?
like what, jade. You can't get Altum yet, and I'm not saying that you will be able to get Altum soon, but Jesse, we met at River's Edge Cutlery. They are amazing people. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. And they have the exclusive on the Synapse and the minis and all that with the Altum, correct?
Yes, they do.
That's what gave me the scar on my finger.
Oh, jeez.
Well, that was one of my questions was, you know, you were kind of known for versatility and changing your scales, you know, and all that. And, you know, do you have any, if you know, you don't have to answer this, but do you have any plans to try, you know, fat carbons or, you know, rich light, you know, things like that?
Yeah, so we actually have fat carbon dropping this Thursday. Thanks for the plug.
Awesome.
Nice.
I didn't know that.
We have
Yeah, I did that.
yeah,
I did that on purpose.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we have end cut carbon fiber. So they're deep, they're thick carbon, end cut carbon fiber, fat carbon. It's incredible. So we have that dropping for the Synapse XLs this week on Thursday, and then the Synapses. I think we should be getting some in January for those as well. The hard part with doing that kind of stuff is minimum order quantity. So we have a lot of stuff coming out for the new Synapse Gen 3 and the Synapse XL Gen 3. And a lot of people are asking, like, hey, how about Gen 1 and Gen 2? And unfortunately, or how about lefties? Like, hey, can we get titanium scales for the lefties? Unfortunately, everybody that ordered a lefty would have to agree to get that scale for me to be able to put it into production, just because the minimum order quantity is so high. Getting the product to my manufacturer, to machine, to finish, and get to us becomes cost prohibitive if it's anything less than, you know, usually 50 or 100 pieces, which doesn't sound like that much, but it's 50 or 100 pieces of fat carbon, which is already ridiculously expensive for us to get, let alone produce. Then titanium, then, you know, some of these other bespoke things. So it just becomes cost prohibitive. So that's why we don't go too far outside of our norm.
Okay. Well.
Oh, I do have one note about that really quickly, if you don't mind. The best part about that, and I actually had a conversation with Ernie Emerson about this, and it was one of the coolest conversations that I had. He was just a very, very interesting guy, but he was just, you know, he talked about his business being somewhat built around people pimping his knives, right? Taking his knife after he sells it to them and doing something interesting to that. And he's like, I promote that. Like, I want people to do that because right, they make their knife theirs. But what ends up happening is this second life of their knife happens. They get their knife, they have it as it is, and then they get to do something cool with it. So in our group, we have people making custom scales, wood scales, those the fat carbon, storm, the purple, and all of that. Right. You can get custom ones made. So if somebody wants it, great. Now they have an avenue to get it.
Well, okay. So actually something I was going to talk to you about was because we have, whenever you showed me the Slim, the new one. You told me you wouldn't let me take a picture of it. I trying to remember the name of it. At Rec, you're like, this is coming out.
Oh, right.
You
Yeah.
can't. You wouldn't let
You're
me.
right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yes, I actually do have it here. And I did want to mention that
The Impulse,
my buddy
is it?
in the... No, so this one is the Lux, Lux.
It's completely new.
But I did want to mention that Ace is in the comments mentioned that I was able to get graffiti scales for my Synapse XL. They're downstairs. They're in a placard. But people can take, let's say, like a G10 or a micarta scale and make art with it. And then now it's a one-off scale as well,
Right.
which is I just think is awesome. So, right. So the Lux is a Riot designed.
Oh, that was cool.
Yeah, that's you weren't
Yeah.
close to that one, John, were you?
I think I did see that one.
Were you there whenever he was?
I was gonna
Brian Brown.
Yeah.
I was going to say, John, I thought we met.
You
Yeah,
were
we
set
did.
up on the table beside me.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, because whenever
And then it's hard to see, but inside it has honeycomb
yeah,
milling. So the knife is extremely light, but very strong because of the honeycomb pattern on the inside.
right. Well, okay, Adam will understand this too because Adam has a modder buddy, and I have a modder buddy that's a different buddy, but they do similar things. We're not going to argue right now
Oh, sure.
on who the king is. We all know.
It's never an
But,
argument.
when you handed me that, I thought, man, that is a fantastic blank canvas. And the reason I wanted to take a picture of it at the time wasn't to blast it all over Facebook, is I wanted to send it to Chris Burns. And then whenever I showed you you were looking at all the modded knives that I had on the table, and those were all done by the same guy. And
Yeah.
and then
they're great.
right after that, he did the Axon that I sent you a picture of. I think it was green and had like gator print on it and stuff. And he actually asked, what makes you stay with this spacey look, because so you got a flat here and a flat here. Why not contour?
Well, I'm glad you asked.
Oh,
Well, I knew that one, but I didn't want to talk too much about
Okay.
that one because you told me no.
No. Okay. So now I wasn't sure which one I didn't let you take a picture of. And I actually, now that I realized, I don't think I actually had this one. And Mike, hi Mike in the comments. Good to see you, buddy. I think this is the one that that I showed you at the show.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this one does have contoured handles. Why not go contoured handles? Why haven't I done contoured handles before? I like the spacey chamfers.
Right. That was one of
the.
That's one of the questions. It said, what draws you to the modern space-esque look over contoured, which your knives are completely contoured. I'm not saying they're not. I mean,
no, for sure.
I mean, they feel good.
Yeah.
They're not sharp. There's no hot spots. And it's big. I mean, I'm not huge. I'm not the stallion that Mr. Vero is, but, I mean, this is a big knife. Like, to compare.
So talk about contours.
I know people have seen them, but this is a 229, and that's a manly knife, and that's the Synapse XL. I mean, that's a hand-filling, smooth knife.
I've actually been carrying my XL a lot lately because I got the titanium scales in, and I like to be able to carry things before other people get them because I don't feel special after everybody gets everything. So I've been carrying that. So I did want to show the difference between this is the regular Synapse and the XL.
So the one that you showed me at Rec is still not a thing yet.
Right. So this one is the Best Tech prototype that I showed you there with the contoured handles. So this is convexed up here, and then this, even though it looks like a chamfer, is actually concave at the same radius.
Oh, okay.
So it's
swooped in.
It's concaved out, yeah, and then concaved in, or
Okay.
convexed
Oh,
out
that's
and then concaved in.
Right.
And they're instead of doing like chamfers on the edges, I did fillets around the edges here, and it just feels really nice in hand.
And it has a full
Yeah.
back spacer?
It has a full back spacer.
Wow.
And I'm testing out the back spacer as the stop pin on this.
Ooh,
Oh, wow.
that's interesting.
So there's a steel pin inside the back spacer, so it locks up there, and you can see actually the screws are on this side, but not this side. There's only the clip screw on there, keeping again the show side, even though it has the milled pocket here, nice and clean.
Yeah, that's a modder's dream knife right there.
Exactly. So that's something, and I don't know if you guys have noticed. Have you guys seen any of the laser work that we do here? But I do a lot of laser customization. So I do laser etching and anodizing with my laser, so I can get some really cool colors and some nice designs on there. And this right here is just a blank canvas for that. I can't wait to be able to do some stuff, because this is my prototype, so I can't really mess this one up. But I can't wait to get some of these to mess up and then get them out to other people for them to mess up as well.
So when do you think that might be a thing?
So I am hoping that the best tech knife is June next year. I'd really like to bring some to Blade Show, and I'd like to try to ship. I'm not sure if I'm going to do pre-orders or not. I haven't done pre-orders in a while, but a lot of people have been asking for pre-orders again. So I maybe do pre-orders and ship out some of the pre-orders, or hopefully all the pre-orders before Blade Show, and then bring them to Blade Show so that I can have some available at Blade Show. We don't usually bring knives to Blade Show to sell. Usually our knives are, oftentimes we don't have a lot of knives to sell at Blade Show.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah, which is a good thing. But people get mad. They walk up and they go, "Awesome. Yeah, I'll buy this one." I'll be like, "Sorry, I only have 3 of these in my entire office."
Yeah.
Like in its entire building, I have 3 of them, and they're all on this table. I can't sell it. Then they'll do the thing where it's like, "All right, fine, but like, just sell it to me." Dude, I'm sorry, I can't.
Yeah, that's whenever I could tell whenever.
Right.
You didn't want to be rough with me, but I was like, "Yeah, I need to get a picture of this," and you were like, "Yeah, I wish you wouldn't." I was like, "All right,
Yeah. I felt bad, but
Well, the guy I'm glad he's on here actually, because the guy I wanted to show you, he just commented on it. He's the modder guy that I use for Serpent's Run Customs. He said send it. But yeah, here's one he did right here. Let me cheap plug for Chris.
Looks great.
The group finish.
Bark.
You saw this at Rec.
Yeah, rad.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, Chavez knives are perfect for that, with just that clean face on there. It really is perfect. And in fact, I was going to take out my phone, but there it is. Between making fixed blades and ending up designing my first knife, I did a lot of customization, and I had a Chavez that I did a mirror polish on just the face and anodized just the face blue. I absolutely loved that knife. I wish I still had it.
Yeah, that's they get scratched so easy.
They really do. They really do.
I have a J cape that Chris polished to like a mirror finish, and it's blue.
Yeah.
And
it's titanium.
I still carry it, but it's like, I don't want to hurt it. Okay, so I did make the post you saw that had a couple of questions that I told them they could go ahead and ask. One person asked about coins.
Mm. We just dropped coins for the first time. It's been 4 years now, and people have been asking for coins, and we finally just dropped them. I don't have one in my pocket. I wish I did now, but they're titanium polished or matte coins, and I did a full laser etch. I call it Veil, so it's Vero etch, anodizing, laser, and I'm really happy with how they turned out. They sold out in the first day. I think it was less than an hour, and I feel bad because a lot of people have been asking for them. So I do have some coming in, and I will do another run very, very soon. So I'm sorry to everybody that didn't get one. I really feel bad about that.
Okay, we got people wondering if you're going to have any more fixed blade variants, like a fixie, synapse, or isotope.
I had the coolest thing prepared for that, okay? I have my computer set up, and I had my camera here, and when you asked me that question, I was going to go, oh, I had no idea you were going to ask me that question, and I was going to switch the screen so that you guys could see my screen with my CAD drawing of a fixed blade that I have in production, and I was going to announce it here for the first time, but now I'm looking at my phone, and I don't think I could do it. Hold on, you know what? Let's do it the old school way. I'll take my laptop. See if I can get this. Let me see if I can get this to work. It's not going to be nearly as interesting as before, but let's see if we can get this to work. So, yes.
Yeah, that want to know that his name is Jason Kapouros.
Oh yeah. Hey, buddy. I think he's on here.
He
I saw
probably
his name
is.
earlier.
He's all over Facebook Knife World. He's the man.
I seen him on here when we were trying to get me in.
Yeah,
and it wasn't working
He was
forever.
on the first time.
Hopefully the issues. The
Yeah, he just commented.
Okay, he's here. All right, cool. Okay. All right, so I have a super technical way to show you guys this. All right.
Come on, let's see it.
So,
oh yeah.
let's see if
Oh, there you go.
get this to
Wow.
work.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
Yeah.
Now, so a couple things about this design is that it is let's see if I can get it here.
Yeah.
This exact design, except it is
Drop point.
drop point, but the blade is the exact same length, right? So normally the Warncliffe would be down here. So the blade comes up a little bit higher or extends out a little bit longer, and the handles are now interchangeable.
Ooh.
So
nice.
you'll be able to buy both knives and get your titanium scales and your micarta scales and swap them around.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay.
That's sick.
That'll be handy. And it looks like that had more belly on it than like this does.
Yes, yeah. It's kind of a longer sweeping edge, maybe a little bit more like what do I have that has that?
Forgot about this thing.
Yeah, the radius on the drop point is much larger.
Another question that popped up here. It says you've done
It's from Chris
brass and copper in the past. You plan on doing that again on any of the newer models, or?
I definitely want to do some. So we did brass on the fixed blade, and that's actually the first thing that sold out at Blade Show. People were just like, "Oh yeah, this is
Yeah, it
it."
looks awesome.
And I was like, "Yeah, I'm really happy people like them," and it adds a nice weight to it. And I think that the titanium scales kind of like fills that niche also.
Yeah.
So yes, I will definitely be doing more brass, probably not copper. We did copper a while ago on the Axons, but the brass is one of those things people either love it or hate it. Like
Right.
there's people that their entire EDC is brass, which is awesome. I love
it's a
brass.
good look.
Yeah, it really is. But again, it's that whole minimum order quantity thing.
Right.
Is there enough people that are going to want that design to warrant having them produced? So the idea now is instead of producing, let's say, synapses with brass scales, I would do a run of just brass scales
Right.
to have them on the site for people to add and upgrade their knife.
Right. One other thing, we'll let John talk about this because this is John's favorite thing in the whole world. This is a mini.
Oh, it is.
This is
Absolutely.
also.
Mine's beat the crap.
Oh yeah, I love to see it.
Joseph sent us this one to give away also for the hero giveaway that we're going to do in February. But what inspired that? I mean, just the need to carry something, to work on your knives on the go, or?
I was never a pry bar guy, right? I didn't actually end up wanting to design a pry bar. I was sitting at a red light, flipping my knife, wishing that I had a bit driver, as we all do, wanting to adjust our knife at red lights, and didn't have one. And I used those like Home Depot Husky bit drivers that have the 4mm bits that flipped back and forth. And I was like, why doesn't anybody design that for their pry bar instead of using the 1/4-inch bits, which nobody wants? Nobody wants to have a bunch of 1/4-inch bits dangling around in their pocket, and they're heavy and big and pointless. You don't need a T28,
right,
in your pocket on you. So I was like, screw it. So I went back to my office. Instead of working that day, instead of designing drones, which is what I was actually doing at the time, I designed this, and the fulcrum came out of that. So I went ahead and I put the bits inside of the titanium here. There's a magnet inside of the clip. Yeah. So you could actually take the clip off, and the clip is technically the bit driver. I wouldn't suggest using it, but and then I was like, well, hell, might as well put a pry bar on this side. People dig pry bars. And then now I love having a pry bar on me all the time because it's actually super functional.
I was going to say, you turn you into a pry bar guy?
Well, I wouldn't say a pry bar guy, but, I'm glad that I do have one once in a while.
I carry this thing more than any knife in my collection. My knife might rotate, but like this thing is, I clean out my deck of my lawnmower with it. Like,
No, dude, I love it.
He had it for a while, and I was like, I'm trying to think of what I need to get, and he's like, I know what you need. And then like 2 days later, I was like, what is this? And I was like, this is really cool. He's like, you need that. I was like, well, thanks, because I have the full size one.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, it's in my stack at home currently.
Well, so many people out there will tell you that pry bar, like, why are you carrying a pry bar? There's no point in it. It's just it's a showpiece for a lot of people putting their pictures. When you carry one, you find out that there are little uses here and there where you might think twice and go, I don't really want to use my blade for that, or I don't want to.
Yeah,
and
dude,
that's
I don't want tape on. I don't want tape on my blade.
Right.
Like literally, like what? Like I'm not opening up boxes of my knife. I'm grabbing my fulcrum for that.
Right.
That's hard use right there for a knife.
I twisted a lock off a storage unit with this last week.
Oh, nice.
Look, because we lost the keys.
He told me. He said I pried with everything I had. And he said it worked. He said it didn't break.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
where a lot of some of them scratches came from. But it's already beat. Like
All right, Adam. I know.
Always
that,
use it.
I know that you have had Veros. I've seen you had Veros. So
yeah, I've had.
You can speak to the man and not be ashamed because, like I said, I don't have one. So, you have any questions for Mr. Joseph?
Wait, Adam. I don't want to cut you off, but I do. I have to segue.
Oh man, that I can get.
I might have to get one of those.
Yeah. All right, so like sometimes you don't want a 5.5-inch fulcrum in your pocket, This way,
or 3-inch,
or 3.5-inch.
Yep.
This way, you get that same bit driver here.
There's
your
still a bit driver in it.
Tiny little pry bar. Yep. And you can put it on your keys. You can use it as a zipper pull, which is actually how I've been carrying mine, my prototype for a long time, and I'm really happy with it. And now, obviously, you can't keep a bit on this.
Just
but
like to ask that.
Yeah, there's no way to carry a bit here. And
have you thought about bit storage?
So, kind of. Nobody screenshot this. That is cool. Nobody screenshot this because this isn't actually going to be a product yet. I'm not happy with any of the iterations that I've done on
I was gonna say, you just told everybody to screenshot.
Oh,
so
cool.
the idea here was, again, it incorporates the same bit, the clip,
Right.
the key ring bit holder in there, but it has bit storage in the back end.
More bit storage than the actual.
And so does the bit go in where the keychain hole is? Does that pull out?
So the bit literally just goes right into the driver.
Yep.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah, I need that.
Yeah.
I'm not so you're right. So what's really cool about this is you have usually 2 zippers on your bag.
Oh, there you go.
So you keep this in your bag, or you clip them together and you keep them on your keys or whatever. But this isn't coming out for a while, and there's a couple reasons why. I'm using O-rings to keep these in here, and I'm really happy with how it's working. But manufacturing and all that stuff, hiccups. So I'm working on it. Don't yell at me in like 6 months when I don't release this, okay?
Well, you have my address now, so
I'm actually I'm hoping to get these in like this week so that I can drop them so that people can get them for the holidays. Fingers crossed.
Oh, yeah.
Like really, really hoping. Like I'm watching the FedEx package make its way here.
Nice.
I'm sorry, Adam.
Oh no! I Jesse was saying that I have owned quite a few Veros, and just through the trials and tribulations of collecting and selling, I just don't happen to have any at the moment.
I get that,
but
circle of knife.
Right.
It is
right. I mean, just even going back to your design language, do you ever like contemplate and go, what if I release something that's totally outside of the design language?
Yeah,
because yours is extremely defined, right? So it's like,
yeah, I definitely will do something like that eventually. How I design is maybe similar to a lot of people. I don't really know, but normally what I do is I draw something out. I draw it out on my iPad. Then I convert that to CAD. So I go kind of 2D to 3D. And then I look at that CAD drawing as I iterate. And I'm looking at every single degree on every single chamfer, on every single radius. I'm looking at the front of it, the butt of it. And I'm not calling out any other knife designers out there, but a lot of knife designers design in 2D. And that's okay because there's some very good designs that came out of some great 2D drawings. But I'm a mechanical engineer. I'm a design engineer. I sit at the CAD and I just obsess over it. I have to be very, very, very happy with every single view of this knife opened and closed. So if I try to design something kind of like outside the box, I usually end up tweaking it back into the box because the box, it's what I like. Once I get to a point in my design, once I get to like a mark in my design, I close it, I leave it alone, and I try not to look at it for 7 days or so. If 2 days later goes by and I can't stop thinking about that design, and I go back and I look at it, that's usually my final mark. But after 7 days, I come back. There's usually some tweaks that I want to make and stuff. That usually ends up coming right back to that clean aesthetic design philosophy that just is me.
I have
so maybe a fixed blade. Maybe this fixed blade actually. I really like this.
You should bring that to the market.
It looks good. So I don't know, how much you follow other knife makers and their groups, etc. But Jason, actually, the same guy we were talking about earlier, asked, have you ever contemplated the idea of a group exclusive, like a group knife exclusive, like that you could, you drop it only in the group, only a member of the group could get, well, Chavez does like red lava flow carbon scales on knives, and that's his group exclusive. And, and he actually brands it knife of the year and with a date and stuff. And it does really well. And he was asking if you were ever consider doing something like, even if it was just something like this. And, I don't know. I don't know what it takes to get, something maybe like that. But it was a question. I thought I'd throw it out.
No, it is a very good question. And I know it sounds weird, but it's not really something that I've thought about. So doing a design specifically for the group might be a little bit difficult, but doing like an exclusive for the group, it's definitely doable.
That's more
exclusive scales.
That's more of what they do. Like this year, well, of course, this is the one year that Chavez is dropping a whole new complete thing. But in the past, he's taken a scapegoat and put red carbon fiber on it, or you got the anything with a full titanium that could just be lasered with a particular pattern. That's just I'm just thinking that's more what they're asking. They're not asking for a completely new design. I don't think they're just something you could only get it if you pre-ordered it, and you only say you laser a Lux, the new Lux. So say there's only 100 of them, and they all have this Vero pattern on them, and once that's it.
Yeah. So we have done laser etching, but again, it hasn't been like just a group exclusive. It's kind of like what I normally do is I give Facebook first dibs. I say, hey guys, I'm going to tell you guys when they're available on the site. They're available. They get first dibs at them. And then I ended up dropping them, opening it to like Instagram. And then sometimes a newsletter, depending on what it is and how it goes. Definitely something I'll think about in the future.
Yeah.
One reason why I haven't done that, and I actually just had a conversation about this recently. When I was collecting knives, I wasn't able to get custom knives, right? It was just outside of my reach. And I had FOMO, right? I was just like, I felt like it sucked not getting that cool knife that I see everybody else getting.
I know
and
exactly where you're going with that.
I feel bad if somebody shows off one of those knives on Instagram and they're like, well, I don't have Facebook. And I go, I get that. Facebook sucks sometimes. And it's not, I totally get your choice not to get that. And then they couldn't get it. So I just frankly feel bad about people not being able to get that.
I literally was just telling my wife the other day, Chavez posted, not trying to plug other makers when you're talking, but you're cool enough.
No, he's a friend. He has my chef's knives, told me he uses them every single day.
Right. Literally, he's going to drop an OTF razor blade, and he's doing a group exclusive. It's going to be red lava flow, and I'm like,
it's awesome. Awesome.
I'm praying so hard that he does not drop that before Christmas, because I will not get one. You know what I mean? Like, I have 3 children. I can't buy.
Trust me, I get it.
You're not getting anything.
I always get something.
I know.
I was able to check out the front. It is amazing. It is. I'm jealous because it is everything that I wish I designed in a tiny little out the front like that.
Yeah,
you definitely should get one.
Yeah, I know.
You really should.
Well, we'll see. If I don't get one, I will end up with one. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Another question that we had, and then we'll start trying to get to the end of this. Well, it's a good question. What's your personal favorite knife, whether it's yours design or, what's a knife you always see and you're like, man, that's awesome. It can be your own knives. We won't be mad at you because they are cool.
No, it's okay.
We won't
it's usually well, right now, let me answer what my favorite Vero knife is right now, just so I can actually end up talking about what you actually asked me. Honestly, the Lux prototype has been finding its way in my pocket a lot. A lot. I'm very, very happy with this design. It's a gentleman's carry. I feel like it just, it's kind of like the evolution of what my knives have transitioned into a gentleman style knife, and I'm very, very happy with this. I really hope people. I do have a new prototype coming out with a rear flipper tab on it. A lot of people, it's something that I wanted to put into this knife. I want to try it out, and if it works, then I'm going to go directly into production with it. If it doesn't work the way I want it to, I'm very happy with just the front flipper tab on it, and this is this is in my pocket if I don't have to carry something else to like test, like this one, which I'm very happy with as well. But again, this is the one that you saw, the best tech.
Yeah,
I love this one when I want to. I mean, you can see this one's like dirty and well used. This is the one that I've been using to do that thing that I need to do with a knife. This is the one that I'm using to put in my pocket to go to work and
play with,
to play with and flip out and listen to it and be really happy with how it turns out. Now, my favorite, like all-time favorite knife is my Sebenza 21 that my wife gifted me after I proposed to her.
That's cool.
That's my favorite knife. That will only leave my collection when it goes to one of my children. Absolutely love it. I think it's almost a perfect knife, like in itself. I don't think I don't need to tell anybody that Chris Reeves, what he did when he designed the Sebenza was not only revolutionary, but just absolutely groundbreaking. That is probably a perfect knife and has been for a very, very, very long time. Absolutely love that knife. I did bring another knife that's very sentimental to me, and I'm going to grab it real quick. People ask me why I like big knives. Let me show you what Grandpa Joe carried every single day in his pocket.
That's awesome.
I have an extra large head, and this is what Grandpa Joe carried every single day. Grandpa Joe was a big dude.
What was that, 4.5 inches?
This is his. Yeah, it's got to be right. It's 4.
Yeah, that's pretty cool though.
Yeah. So I had to take this one out today.
It still works like it always should.
It absolutely. It's got a little bit of blade play, but it's old. We give him a little credit for that. So
one other. This was pretty much the last question on the list. Was where did it go? Oh, Magna Cut.
This is the XL.
Oh man,
This is the Sit-Ups XL.
Yeah, that's big.
Grandpa Joe was a big dude. Okay, so Magna Cut. The plan is right now I'm contemplating doing it on the Best Tech knife.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
Yeah, it would.
So I know people have been pretty jazzed about it. I think Magna Cut's amazing, and I think this is kind of the perfect knife. The idea on this knife was a big, robust knife, large milled pockets, aggressive jimping, large flipper tab, meant for you to use.
Nice.
Yeah.
No hot spots on this knife, nicely contoured. It's there for you to grab it with your gloves on, take it out, baton it, do what you have to do. This is that knife for that.
Yeah,
John's the kind of guy that beats on his knives with sticks.
I do.
I can just see him reveling when Joe was sitting there talking up the Sebenza.
Oh yeah.
I saw some very hearty nods out of that corner of the screen.
We're not having that conversation. Anyway, I have mixed feelings about those. So
Is
it the bushing? Oh, I guess we definitely let's not get into it.
It's not a fidget toy. That's what the problem is.
Yeah.
John,
You can middle finger flick one out. I'm just saying.
You can,
but
and you can customize them too.
Yeah.
Nice, you can.
So,
Nice.
if somebody were to want, not that you need to help anybody, but like I said, you're a lot cooler than most knife makers I've reached out to a lot of people to try to do this, and some of them are just not friendly. And some of them are friendly, but really shut me down really quick. But if somebody were to want to get into designing a folding knife through a Riot or a Best Tech, what pointers would you have for somebody that's fresh and green, has great ideas, okay, but what's something that you could say right away, be like, don't do that, or try to do this, things like that. That's
So first
big, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no. So I do have a couple points on that. First, when I decided to design a pocket knife, I reached out to a couple people. One of those people was Adam Purvis, and I just sent him a message like, "Hey, man, I dig your designs. I want to kind of do something where I have, a manufacturer make one of my knives, one of my designs." And he was like, "This is way more than a text message. Here's my phone number. Call me." He spent 45 minutes on the phone with me, and answered every single question and more that I didn't even know that I had. If you reach out to a knife designer, knife maker, and ask them a question, and they're not. We all started somewhere, and we all got help from somebody. So
Right.
I have absolutely no problem.
Common thread. Knife designers, knife makers out there all seem to have gone under someone's wing at some point.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I have no problems.
That's my son. That's my son.
Oh, right.
My son is messaging John about football.
Under mom's Facebook.
Yeah.
So a couple things. One is I got very lucky when I reached out to Best Tech because they were kind of a newer manufacturer trying to get into the U.S. market. So they were a lot more accommodating with me than, let's say, Riot would have been. I was a nobody, and listen, when I tell you I was designing my first knife, and I was like, I want this angle to be exactly like this, and I need the chamfers here, and I need the jimping exactly like this. They were like, okay. And when they sent me that knife, when I got this prototype, where the hell is my prototype? It's blue. How did I lose it? when I got this prototype handed to me, literally right in front of me, handed to me, it was my knife, not their knife in my design.
Mm-hmm.
And get your knife made. Okay, you need to be assertive with what you want done.
Don't be quick to compromise.
Don't be quick to compromise. I got lucky in that I didn't have to force it, but I do know that some manufacturers out there, some of my friends, what they'll do is they'll get a knife made, a prototype made with multiple manufacturers to test it out and see which one they like better. And they will be two very different knives. One knife will be their design, and one knife will be a amalgamation of their design and what the manufacturer wanted to produce. And they didn't do anything different. So just make sure that the knife and sometimes, and I will tell you this, remember, yes, I was a mechanical engineer, but I was not a knife. I didn't have a 5-axis CNC in front of me producing that knife. So when they said, hey, we should probably do this due to manufacturing purposes, I took their word on it, and I didn't just say, no, we're not doing that because I want it like this.
Right.
We definitely compromise on a lot.
Well, they know what will work, and what may work in your mind might not work.
Exactly. So pick your battles, and but most importantly, try to find a manufacturer that will work with you to get your design made. 100% do that. I haven't done it, but some of my friends have. Shop it out, go to multiple manufacturers and give them your design and see what you get. Yes, it's going to cost more because you're going to have to pay for multiple prototypes. But listen, if you're going to be spending the money that you're going to be spending to produce that knife, it's
And if
the
you,
return on
you know,
investment's worth it.
if your first design is just then nobody's going to be looking for, hey, this is Vero number 2. You know, you gotta hit them hard right.
You got to
out
make
of
sure
the
that
gate.
it's the right one.
And then, you know, in the same sense, you know, you hit them hard out of the gate, you make a fan, then the next knife, so, say somebody might not like the blade shape so much, but they know that the first one was so good that, hey, I still want to try it. You know?
Yeah, for sure. And going back to what we talked about at the beginning, make sure it's not somebody else's design.
For sure. Yeah, that's what, you know, whenever I was drawing all these fixed blades, I mean, I was like, I wanted to fight myself because I told, you know, they were like, it looks a little bit like, I'm like, everything looks a little bit like something. Like, it was just, it hurt my brain so bad.
It's rough, especially when you get to that design, when you get to that final design, you're like, and like I said, I won't stop thinking about it. I'll come back to it and I'll look at it and I'll go, that's it. And then I send it to somebody and they're like, oh yeah, that's that. And they're like, fuck.
and then it's something as simple as, you know, like changing the angle of this changes the whole knife and you're like, there it is.
Yeah.
But that's
absolutely.
You know.
So my Synapse, when I first came out with that design, also sometimes you got to just be like, no, it's not that knife, or it's okay that it has, you know, something. The 5th 23, the Jorge. Are you guys familiar with the 5th? Like the fifth FIF 20 and 23. So Philippe Jorge is a French maker. He ended up doing a production run of them, but he was a custom maker. And I owned a 5th 23, and it influenced this design. I loved how that design felt. It had chamfers. It was a very aesthetic, clean design. It definitely influenced my overall design aesthetic in general, but it also did on this. And some people said that's too much like a 5th 23. And I said, no. No, it's not. Well, like, honestly, this is the knife that I want to own, and I'm going to make it. And I'm glad that I did.
Right. And sometimes your brain even plays tricks on you. You know, you're like, man, that, you know, somebody says that looks like X. I'm not going to say it because I don't want, if I ever do make a fixed blade like I want to, I don't want somebody to say it looks like X. But when you put them, where if you lay one right on top of the other, they're nothing alike.
Yeah.
It's just, I personally have a thing for, like the old clip point, the Bowie drop point, you know, I'm old school. I carried a buck 110. She knows when I was like 7 years old till I was like 15, had it in my pocket and couldn't, you know, have to give it to somebody else to unlock the blade so I could close it. That's how my, that's one of my old stories is my dad, I'd be like, hey, can I play with knives? And I'd call him at work and he'd be like, yeah, but he's like, don't open them. Well, I'd open them anyway. And I'm like, I can get it closed today. And I'd be in there and I'd be like, panicking, going to my mom, like, you have to close this before Dad gets home, you know. And you know, truth be told, he wasn't really mad. He was just testing to see if I would do what he'd say, and I did not. But you know, sometimes you have to not do what they say.
Now, I will say though that, you know, it's kind of a hot topic, but you know, also, you know, I'm glad that you're thinking about that. I'm glad that you're concerned about it, and I'm glad that you're taking people's advice on it. And I'm also glad that you're saying that no, it's different enough that maybe the design language is similar, but it is a different knife. There are some that aren't different knives, right? There are people just make other people's knives. Don't do that also. You know, like literally, if somebody's listening, you know, it's happened and it sucks. So just don't do it.
Right. Yeah. It's more than just, you know, adding a choil and changing, you know, the butt grip of a knife. You're still really ripping somebody off when you do something just like that.
Yeah.
And people, you know, and then there's a whole other topic of, you know, are you a knife maker if you don't make the knife? You know, that's one thing I hurt my brain with was like, you know, I wanted to learn how to make knives, and this guy in my group's like, I can make that knife for you. And I'm like, that's, you know, it's cool that if I ever come out with one that people are going to be like, hey, yeah, that's, you know, Jesse's knife, but Jesse didn't make the knife, you know, and And he's like, you still designed it. You still put the time in it. You still did all, designing is way harder than people, making a knife is hard. Okay. I'm not saying that's not, but coming up with something that looks good, that also works and feels good and doesn't stab your hand is really difficult.
No, absolutely. As a designer, I am a designer. I was a designer before I made knives, and I'm a designer now, and it's just what I do. I love CAD. I love taking something that isn't and making it, having it there. And a lot of people have given me shit about not producing my own knife. And even fans and, great customers, they're like, awesome. But if you just got a full machine shop and started making your own knives, you should do that. And I'm like, that's not what I want to do. Like, if I did that from the beginning, I'm only 4 years into this and I have 12, 15 designs. If I did that, I'd still be on my first design trying to figure out how to get it perfect. One, I didn't have the funding to do that, to just still be on my first design. But 11, 12, 13, 14 designs wouldn't be in the world. People wouldn't be carrying them. People wouldn't be talking about them. People wouldn't be using them.
And they'd be $1,000.
And I'd be mad at myself as that college student because I couldn't fucking afford one because they're $1,000. And now people can buy my knives, and people can get them on the secondary market for even cheaper now, which wasn't always the case.
As of recent,
for a couple of years they were, but I worked my ass off to get my production numbers up to prevent the secondary market for being so high. Listen, I am not a price police. If somebody wants to take a knife and put it on the secondary market for 2x and somebody wants to pay for it, oh, great for both of you. I am glad that both of you walked away happy. But I also felt bad that a lot of people couldn't get the knives. And that's why I wanted to, that's why I did it. So I increased my production numbers.
That's the, Adam knows because we have kind of similar taste. But like the Strix right now, the Sparrow Strix and the Null knives, the Voodoo, I mean, people want double what they cost new. And it's like, man, I cannot. Like, I just can't physically do that. Number one, because it's too much money. Yeah. And number two, like, I just refuse because I'm stubborn.
Well, yeah, a year from now, you're going to get killed on it.
Right.
Right, exactly. It's an anti-investment.
And it's all just dependent on the market. I mean, John knows I started buying J-capes last year, and you couldn't touch a J-cape for under $600. And now, he's saturated the market very well, and you can pick, I'm not saying it's a bad thing because he's selling knives, so whatever. But now you can get them for, 100 under retail, 150 under retail, and now I'm like, and I had a $40,000 knife box that's now a $15,000 knife box.
Right. And that's the market, right? That's how collector's market goes, and you had that injection of money into the market, through the stimulus, and you had COVID collectors who, are starting to realize that they were never into knives, so now they had hobbies before COVID, and they're going back to those hobbies.
Right.
So, I mean, it is what it is. Quick question though, is the Lux the first one that's off of the, I don't know how to describe it, the brain theme? Because you have the Impulse, the Synapse, the I guess the Axon, right? Or is the Axon even off the?
Well, no, the Axon is the receptor or something. I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
So where did that come from too?
So the Lux just fit. So I'd like to say that I'm good at designing knives, but terrible at naming them. I kind of got lucky with the Synapse and the Axon line. They just kind of popped and it worked. My first one was an Impulse, which is a mechanical engineering term,
right? And
also technically, you have impulses and axons firing. So I ended up kind of like transitioning because of the Synapse and the Axon. But I just I mean, tell me, does this not look like the Lux to you? Just,
Right. No,
Yeah.
I get where
right.
you're going.
It just worked.
Is that
Like
the first one? That's off of that
yeah.
theme?
Yeah. Well, the isotope isn't neurological,
you're right.
but it is I guess it is
Chemistry.
physics, chemistry.
Right. That's
Science.
that in as many knives as there are in the world. I mean, that's one of the struggles too. Like my friend is a fixed blade maker, and he's getting more and more well known. And he's like, I need to come up with a name for my company. And he starts like naming stuff that he likes, and I'm Googling. And I'm like, nope.
I got lucky. I went into Ansel and Vox's tables when I brought my first knife out, and if you guys aren't familiar, they're phenomenal custom designers, but also they are part of Giant Mouse and also design a bunch of knives for Spyderco. And I walked up and I've been fans of their knives for years, and I said, hey, my name's Joseph Vero, or my name's Joseph. Here's a knife that I'm working on. I'm going to call it the Vero Impulse. And first of all, they really liked the knife. And I was floored because I could tell that they weren't bullshitting me. They actually liked the knife. And they go, Vero, is that the name of the company? I go, yeah. They go, that's a great name for the company. I go, thanks, it's my last name. And I didn't have to think about it at all. It's just Vero Engineering. It just is the name. So naming the company was easy. Naming the knives was hard.
Yeah,
right. You looked out with a cool last name. That's why.
Yeah. My name was.
I got to thank Grandpa Joe Vero.
Yeah, that's cool. My son's name's Joseph, actually, too. You met him at Rick.
Right on. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had the little table there too.
Oh,
like next to you.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Yeah, that was him. Yeah, he tried to pull the card. He's like, he has the same name as me. I need one of his knives. I'm like, no, your budget's $60, bro. Go. You're going to be looking at the Savivis and the.
Look at that Savivi over there.
The Bokers and. Some
Fine, I'll do like a Kaiser collab or something just so he can get one.
He'll end up getting one. I mean, because they've got Chavez and they worked all summer and they spent a lot of money on knives.
Nice.
So
they're learning.
Tell them it's a terrible investment. Well, I will say though that how I ended up starting this whole thing is that I bought like a PM2 for $60 on Reddit, and I cleaned it up, I sharpened it, acid etched it, sold it for $80. Bought a PM2 for $80, cleaned it up, sharpened it.
Like,
circle
wow,
a knife.
Knife modder.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Then I actually started modding knives. Then I started buying Chavez, and just worked my way up. So it could work as a little little side business for them.
Yeah.
I actually when I first got into knives, I was like, how are these knives different colors? And it's like, oh, you anodize them. And then I started talking to a guy, and he's like, we just buy this machine. It took me literally 2 days and a Chavez to realize I don't want to do this to somebody else's knife, because I don't have $400 to send him whenever I cook it in this water with this electricity and shocking myself. And I was like, yep, I'm done. So that was my modding experience.
That was your foray into modding.
Fingernail polish. It was splattering fingernail polish, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be the best. And then I realized, like, this is not easy. Like, I don't like this.
Did your wife yell at you when you duct taped a jug closed with rocks and knives and put it in your washing your dryer?
No, because I said at the
I did. My wife did.
I sat at the dining room table with a Gatorade bottle going like this, staring at it, checking it every 5 seconds because I was terrified I was going to tear it up. But,
well, now I get to tell my wife that I was right that whole time, that it was a good idea for me to do it.
Or pouring a jug of ferric chloride on the, my boys were looking at it, and I'm like, don't touch that. That's acid. My wife's like, it's what? But, yeah,
it's cleaner. It's cleaner. It's fine.
My boys enjoy knives, and, you were really cool with them, too, so I appreciate you doing that, because I know kids get blown off a lot, but at Rec, they love going to Rec, because all those guys, they know me, so my 10-year-old son will be like, can I see that knife? And they know they can hand him that knife. And, You know,
oh, that's awesome.
He's not going to fling it across the room. Not that they haven't done that, because they have, but you know,
it's fine. It's a $60 Civivi. It's okay.
Oh, well,
you could chuck
I mean, I flung J-capes across the ground, and I haven't dropped that Vero yet, though. It's been at my desk. It's back in the box.
It could take it. It's fine.
It's back in the box now that you scolded me for scuffing it. But yeah.
No, but I did want to say, meeting your sons, it was really cool because my oldest is 6 now, and I print them knives so that they can, you know, they can be like dad and have knives in their pocket with their clips sticking out and open and close and pretend to use them. So it's really cool to see in just a few years they'll actually be able to have knives and their own collection.
Yeah.
So like I said, my oldest is a lefty, so I have the 001 lefty models ready for him when he's ready for them.
Well, I will tell you that, like, my son's left-handed, and I've only had right-handed knives, and he can't hardly work a knife with his left hand because he's always he won't even put them, like, I'm like, hey, this is a left-handed knife, put it in your left pocket, and he's like, no, it doesn't go there. You know, because he's already, you know, so used to right-handed things, and he can flick a knife and Spidey flick, and all three of them can. It's pretty cool watching them.
That's awesome.
So, you got anything else, Jon? Adam?
I think we covered about everything, man.
Oh yeah,
This was fun.
Yeah,
for sure. Like I said, I really appreciate you guys having me on. This is really cool. I obviously love chatting about knives, so even if they're not mine.
Well, if you got any ins with any other makers, you know, send them my way that you think would like to talk about it. We just want, you know, at the end of the day, we're all just normal people, and you know, even though I've never owned a Vero, I love all knives, and I just, you know, I want to know, like, what started this. You know, were you like, you know, that's my whole thing. Was one day I was like, man, you know, I want to talk to these people, and we've been lucky enough to talk to Andy Arabito, and we've talked to Chris Burns, the Serpents Run guy, and we have plans to talk to David Curtis and now Brian Brown.
I was just going to say, did you reach out to Brian Brown, because he was there too, right? He's awesome.
We're going to talk to Brian again. So
good.
We get Brian on board.
Yeah, we'll get that set up. Get modders on here. You know, Facebook world, and Adam knows this, can be really weird and aggressive. Even Facebook groups that aren't selling anything won't let you cross promote. And Jon knows the Caveman is just, I mean, I wanted it to be a maker central, like a true, you know, oh, you make leather sheaths, you want to stamp a Caveman on that and sell it? You know, if it'll sell, do it. You want to promote your stuff, you know, do it. There's no, you know, me and Adam have a good relationship, and we have another group called Ozark Edgy that we associate with, and it's just, you know, like if Adam has a, a giveaway or wants to promote something, I like that me and him can share each other's, you know, platforms.
Well, at the end of the day, this is a community in groups. It's almost like gangs sometimes, right? It's almost like it almost feels like that. Like they take
the community out of it and make it aggressive. You know, I like just the way that you talked about other makers, you know, and willing to help. I mean, there's makers that we could say, hey, you know, I want to get into making fixed blades or folders, and they'd be like, no, I wouldn't do it. You know, that's code for I don't want to, and that's code for I don't want to tell you. You know.
So one thing you mentioned is like the community. So EDC community are you guys familiar with Notorious EDC?
Yeah.
So he's a really good friend of mine. The reason I know him is because he kind of went off on a rant one time about this being an EDC community, and it's made for everybody. And if you like flashlights or pens or knives or watches, then you're welcome here. It doesn't matter what pen, knife, flashlight, just you're welcome here.
Yeah.
Right.
When I started the Facebook group, I was like, yes, it's a Vero Engineering Facebook group, but dude, talk about your EDC. Like, I don't care. Like, I want people just to be there to chat and stuff like that. So yeah, I love to hear that this is like inclusive and everybody's just like allowed to be here. That's
right. Me and Jon, you know, me and Jon run Caveman EDC, and 95% of the knives that John loves, I think are garbage, and vice versa. and we joke about it, but at the end of the day,
man,
like,
I hope Vero's in that 5%.
Right, I'm not mad that John likes CRK, and I wouldn't throw one at a tree, you know. But it's not because I don't think it's a good knife. It's just not for me.
You.
And
It's not for you. That's completely fine.
John doesn't like Chavez like I like Chavez, but that doesn't mean we have to fight. That doesn't mean he's going to delete my post, you know. And then that's the whole thing.
Some people act like you're the you don't know anything about knives. You're stupid. You're this. You're that. Just because you don't like what they like. And
that's how John treats me. That's how John treats me.
And often.
I just give you crap for not using them.
I use them. I just don't kill chickens every day like you do, John.
God damn it! Show me a video of you killing a chicken with that fulcrum. I would be so proud of you.
I'll do it.
I will do it.
Now
we just got 2 more hogs today.
You'll have to send that in a private message. You can't post that on the channel.
Yeah, I was kidding. Please do not post that in the group. That is. I did want to mention. Are you guys familiar?
I will send you a picture of a bloody fulcrum.
So yes, very cool. As long as it's not human blood, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
And then quick note about the fulcrum being used. Somebody has a Timascus. We make full Timascus fulcrums. They're $275. It's just a chunk of Timascus, which is already ridiculously expensive, but made into a fulcrum. And I love seeing them super scratched up. I know that most of them are probably just sitting in a case someplace, and that's completely fine. But some people have been showing their fulcrums recently, their Timascus ones, and you can't even tell it's Timascus. That's how well used it is. Cool. And I love seeing that.
Torch it now.
But don't, right? Because it's like you could see the wear.
Yeah.
Are you guys familiar with Jack Wolf knives?
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get Ben. I'll let Ben know that this was cool and that he needs to be on.
That's one thing that I forget who I was talking to the other day, but those, because I like case knives and buck knives, and those Jack Wolf knives have been speaking to me, because it's like, man, they look so old school, but they have mechanics of new school.
Yeah.
Oh,
they're a new take on an old design, which is amazing.
And he's using all those crazy fat carbons, and it just seems really cool.
Yeah, and Ben is amazing. He's amazing. I'm so proud of you. And so you got your little clip point on there.
Yep, I love that.
And the thing about it is he does that like clean version of this type of thing, right? So it's got the gorgeous grind lines on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Full titanium. I mean,
and all kinds of scale options and different blades and stuff. His my favorite design of his is the Feel Good Jack. I wish I had it, but it's in my EDC pouch downstairs. Take a look at it. It's amazing. I absolutely love that knife. So I'll let him know to reach out to you guys.
Cool.
Yeah. You can message me. I know you prefer messaging on Instagram, and that's fine with me. I forget about Instagram because I don't do Instagram that much.
I forget about Facebook.
Yeah. So, but we can definitely, I got to do some research, and John can do some research, and that way we can talk to him intelligently. She did. I told her today, I was like, the lives tonight, and she was like, yeah. And she's like, I'll watch. And I'm like, no, you ain't watching. You're coming. She's our newest admin. So I was like, I was showing her pictures on the way here. I was like, see these? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, and she's like got a little bit of stressed look on her face. I was like, you don't have to memorize them. I was like,
there's no exam at the end of this.
No.
Hey, you did your job. Christy, you flipped a Vero knife open on camera. That you passed the test.
I am kind of cool like that.
And she's not good at it. So here's Jack Wolf, by the way.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that. Yeah. Yeah, the Feel Good Jack. That's the one I want.
Yeah, Feel Good Jackets. It's a perfect design. I not to brag or anything, but I knew about it before everybody else, and I was like, this is gonna kill. It's such a perfect knife.
Yeah, and you can get them in purple too, John.
Oh, no.
I love purple.
We don't do purple over here.
You don't like Ravens purple?
Nope. No, especially not.
All right. Well, Mr. Vero, I thank you. Are you going to be at Texas?
I am.
I'm going to be at Texas.
I'm looking forward to it.
I will bring
nice.
Will you have that no-named knife that you showed me at Rec there with you?
I'll have it with me, but you can take pictures this time, I promise. But you can't take it with you.
I'm going with Chris the modder, so he can actually be there physically and look at it.
Yeah. Oh,
And
definitely, I'll have it.
Yeah. All right.
I'm looking forward to it.
Adam?
Texas is a good show. I wasn't there last year, but it was good.
Yeah, I've never been to Texas ever, so if it's not as scary as Atlanta, I'll be good. I'm from West Virginia.
It's good. The barbecue was great. I went to the show this year, and it was an amazing show, and I'm really, really happy that we were able to get a table for next year.
I'm from West Virginia, so you can imagine the hurt and stress when I walked into the airport and walked for 90 minutes and never turned, and I was like, I don't know where I'm at. And and it was just a big shock to me. I was like, we're only 4 miles from the show. We'll be there in no time. And the guy's like, that's a 2-hour drive. I was like, what? So, all right, let's wrap it up. It's running late.
Yep.
You talked to us for a long time. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
That was a lot. That was really cool.
Nice.
Yours. I want to buy one of your knives just because I like you.
Yeah, it's one of these shows so I can shake your hand. Although Jesse tells me I might feel a little inadequate if I shake your hand.
Oh, you will. I felt inadequate. I'm almost 6'2". So I've never been weird about a man like that. I came home and told my wife, I was like, I met Joseph Vero. I was like, that is like a stud of a man. Like, he was like,
oh, thanks, guys. I appreciate that.
It's like he's got nice hair. He's tall, and he makes knives. Like, what more? Like God got carried away when he was pouring the attributes down. So,
all right. Is this how you end with every? Listen, honestly, I will come back. Thank you guys very much.
See,
I can't reach the button.
It's becoming obvious who likes the purple.
Oh, no.
I'll see you again.
See if
All right.
Real quick before we go, I got to just real quick plug.
Yep.
Chef's Knives. I didn't talk about them real quick, but they are on the site in case anybody's interested.
That written down.
So we have the chef and the utility. I just actually saw them in the back while I was flexing.
I got
Nice.
Now that'll be right up John's alley too, because John actually just butchered his first hog on his own, so he'll probably like.
Oh,
Just
nice.
Make sure to
Man.
get a screenshot of you flexing too. That's why he's leaning forward.
Yeah.
And then, real quick, since you mentioned the synapses, we haven't announced it yet, but we actually will be selling the full Synapse XL with titanium scales this Thursday as well. So we're gonna have a small drop in them as well.
That's another question that Jason asked.
Oh, perfect.
So,
nice.
All right. Well, I think we pretty much answered what everybody wanted to know, plus a bunch more. So thanks again. He sent us a knife, and this is the first announcement for the Hero giveaway that we have a Synapse XL and a Mini Fulcrum to give away with a bunch of other stuff for
a bunch of other stuff. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Least we can do.
What you're giving away.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, we have a lot of stuff. John's probably got some of it right there in front of him. Andy Arabito sent, and well, we can say right here before we go off, Andy Arabito sent us a fixed blade.
Yes.
Never, like, we had it in 2 days, never missed a beat. He's like, yep, I'm down. And John had it in his hand in 2 days. So thanks, Andy, for that. And a lot of other sponsors,
Yes.
Serpent's Run is doing a custom knife for us. Gecko is going to do something.
Yeah, Gecko Customs is doing it too.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, it's rad.
Yeah, that's.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes me want to throw that at a tree, but to see if it'll stick.
Yeah.
But
Man,
I'm surprised he hasn't killed any chickens with that.
I know.
Maybe he has.
Yeah. Don't scuff it up.
No, Just
All
like,
right,
don't
guys.
mess with
Well,
it.
I gotta
Like,
take
come
my
on,
sister.
man.
I gotta take my sister
Yeah.
home. She's old, and I gotta get my children in bed. So, yeah, Joseph, give it a couple months, and if you get anything new coming out, we'll run it again. We only have 5,000
Awesome.
members, but thank you for
That's
the
a
time.
lot. That's
Dude, that's
Yeah.
solid, man.
We did
We're
it
not
in a
much
year.
more than that, honestly.
We did it in a year.
In a year, holy shit!
Yeah,
Yep.
Awesome, good for you guys.
Yep. We have a pretty good group. Me and Adam.
we do.
I'd say we have the most friendly groups on Facebook because some of them are just so
Yeah.
vicious, and
Yeah.
we will not let that happen.
Awesome. That's really cool to hear.
Even though
All
yours
right.
is like 10 times bigger than mine, so.
Well, you just started yours a month ago
Yeah, no, it's
A
all
year
good.
ago. It's been a year.
for the speakeasy.
Yeah.
Oh dang!
A month. He's like a month ago. He's like, you just
Well,
joined.
so while we try to be inclusive, we also try to be exclusive.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You're not going.
You got to
for
be
numbers.
careful.
Right.
That
so
his
it's-
group isn't about numbers. It's about quality
quality.
conversations.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're particular with the people that we let in. Also, again, bringing my sister on, we always check go no go and EDC
Yeah.
go no go, making sure that
Yeah.
there's not like
Well, we
bad stuff. But
Oh,
We
that's my
actually have
reality TV right there. EDC.
we actually have another admin who refuses to go on camera, and he's our scammer police. That's Jamie Wise. He's the one that got me.
oh, very cool.
He's the one that got me into Facebook Knives. So shout out to Jamie. He's probably
Yeah.
probably watching, laughing right now.
I think he logged off earlier because his phone was going dead. He said.
Oh, his phone died. That bum Jamal.
Oh.
All right, guys.
All right.
Well, appreciate it.
Thank
We'll hit
you.
you up
Appreciate
again.
it,
I'll
Jesse,
see you
for
in
having me.
February. What is it?
Sounds good. Thanks, guys, for having me.
All right. See
Yeah.
ya.
Bye.
See you guys.